All right. Today's date is August 3rd, 2022. In Baylor County, Texas, I call cause number 11726 in the interest of the Fowler children. What says the state?
Ready, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Koontz is announced ready. Present by audio and video is Rochelle Gray. Are you ready to proceed, Ms. Gray?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. The court's file reflects that Larry Fowler was served with notice of these proceedings back on April 1st of 2022. I'm not aware of any answer in the court file. Today's hearing was set for 9:30 and it's now approximately 10 a.m. So we are proceeding to default without him. Ms. Koontz, you may call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Rochelle Gray.
Ms. Gray, would you raise your right hand, please? Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, Ms. Koontz.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Gray, what is your full name?
Rochelle Lynn Gray.
And what are the full names of your children on the case?
Brantley James Fowler, Braylon Dixie Fowler, and Brinley Rose Fowler.
Okay. And what is Brantley's date of birth?
June 11th, 2014.
What is Braylon's date of birth?
How about Brinley? What's her birthday?
Brinley is December 26th, 2017.
Okay. And I didn't catch Braylon's date of birth, ma'am.
Braylon is May. You said her birthday, I'm sorry.
Yes.
May 12th, 2016.
Okay. And who is the father of each of the children?
Larry James Fowler.
Okay. And did you and Mr. Fowler both sign acknowledgements of paternity for all of the children on the case, legally naming him their father?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you know if Mr. Fowler has any other minor children?
He does have a son, Lane Fowler. I do not know his middle name.
Okay. Now, is Lane a minor still or has...
No, he's an adult.
Okay.
I believe he's 19, 20.
Okay. And when did you and Mr. Fowler separate?
We separated when Brinley was about 1 year old. So 2018.
Okay. And at the time of your separation or near the time of your separation, was Mr. Fowler starting to receive some type of disability benefit from Social Security?
At that moment, he was still in the process of waiting for it to get approved.
Okay. And is it your understanding that he started receiving that benefit shortly after your separation?
After we separated, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do the children receive disability benefits as a result of Mr. Fowler's disability?
Yes, ma'am.
And how much do they receive?
$251 each.
Okay, and that's every month they receive that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, do you have any personal knowledge regarding any income that Mr. Fowler has aside from disability benefits?
I just know that he had his own mechanic shop that he did on the side.
Okay. Do you know if he's still doing that?
Now that I'm aware that he moved, I am not 100% sure.
Okay. And do you know anything about what he was making when he did do that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now we discussed some calculations for child support and retroactive child support, and that the amount that the children receive from disability benefits exceeds the guideline amount based on the information the state currently has. Are you in agreement that you would like to just go ahead and proceed today with an order that includes 0 for current child support and retroactive support?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you understand that it might be possible for the judge to reset this to see if there could be some additional information on income obtained.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you do prefer to go ahead and proceed. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, since you separated when, is it when Brindley was about 1?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Since that time, what has Mr. Fowler's involvement been like?
He has not really been involved for the first year and a half. He didn't really come around. It wasn't until not this past year when school ended, not this summer when school ended, but the last year when school ended. That's when he finally
Okay.
started coming around them. And it was
Okay.
very brief.
Okay. So a short time in the summer of 2021, he visited with them some.
Yes, ma'am.
Did something occur in the summer of 2021 that caused you to have concerns that the children that having visitation with Mr. Fowler might be harmful in some way to the children?
The only thing that the children have told me, excuse me, is that when he was living in his camper outside of his mother's house, that he ended up leaving them in the camper to sleep alone while he went inside the house.
Okay, and that was over during the summer of 2021?
Yes, ma'am.
Did one of your children seem to have some changes after returning from that visit that caused the need for some professional assistance?
Yes, ma'am. Braylon, she all of a sudden, when she came back home, I had problems with her sleeping at night. She is still to this day stuck to my side. I really can't do anything without her like screaming that she wants to be with me. I put her in counseling. I just have problems with her since she's been with him a couple times.
Okay. And after the summer of 2021, was there a gap where he didn't see the children again for
Yes.
a while?
Yes, ma'am.
When did he next see the children?
Trying to think. I know he didn't do any holidays with them. He skipped their birthdays. The last time that I can remember that he actually took them is in March, and then April the 9th is the last weekend that he has seen them.
Okay. Do you believe at this time that having any type of visitation with Valor would potentially physically or emotionally endanger the welfare of your children?
I do, yes.
Okay.
On April 9th? How long a visit was it? Did he come to your house? What exactly happened?
On April the 9th, he asked me if he can have the kids that weekend, excuse me, because he was getting married. I said yes, but only under one condition. April the 9th was my niece's birthday, so they already had plans to go to her birthday because, of course, that's her cousin, and they've been excited about it. So I said, yes, they can stay with you as long as you can meet me to pick them up for the birthday party, and then I could drop them. We can meet and drop them back off with you. And he agreed to that. So that Friday, later that afternoon, I went and dropped them off to him. And then Saturday came around and we met, and he dropped the kids off with me to go to the birthday party. After the birthday party, we met at Walmart and I picked them up. And then, excuse me, Sunday morning when he was getting married later that day, he messaged me and asked me if one of the kids at the birthday party was sick, because supposedly my son was sick. And he ended up asking me to just come get the kids because they were sick and he didn't want them anymore. And so, of course, I went and picked them up.
And where does Mr. Fowler live? How far from you?
At that moment of time, he was living in Burnett. I just was told last week that he moved to Mountain Home, Texas.
And how far apart is that from you, do you think? Have you looked at that?
The Mountain Home, Texas is almost 5 hours away.
Okay, but he has not informed you of the move himself?
No, ma'am.
Go ahead, Ms. Coons.
Are you asking that if the court did order some visitation, that it be restricted to supervised visitation?
Yes, ma'am.
And what would be a good place for you to meet Mr. Fowler for visitation?
We can meet at a restaurant. We can meet in Seymour, or we can meet in Wichita Falls. Honestly, just
Okay.
a public place.
I think you had mentioned a Copeland's.
Copeland's. Yes, ma'am.
Is that a good place for you to meet?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And now you want to meet in a public place. Is there typically in Texas, everyone's address and identifying information has to be included in the final court order for these cases? Is there a reason that would really harm you or the children, cause harm to come to you or the children in any way, or harassment?
I would believe that he would harass us or something.
Has there been a history of that?
Before he would just show up, before I moved to Seymour, he would just show up unannounced.
Okay. Did you ever have to call the authorities to get assistance getting him to leave? Any incidents?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like the court to know regarding your concerns?
I don't know if it's irrelevant, but the only other reason why I asked for visited visitation or supervised visitation is because I do know when he did his disability paperwork, he claimed that he can't be left alone around the kids. And so, I mean, that's also
Nature of
what.
his disability, do you know?
I'm sorry.
Do you know what the nature of his disability is?
He has seizures.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And he has them every day. He has I believe they're called petit mal seizures,
Yes.
but he does have the bigger
Grandma.
grandma seizures as well. But they're not as much as the petit mal seizures he has every day.
Anything else, Ms. Kuntz?
Ms. Gray, what insurance is available for the children at this time?
They are on Medicaid.
Okay. And are you aware of any other coverage available for them?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I pass the witness.
Anything else you think I ought to know, Ms. Gray?
I mean, honestly, I just feel like he really doesn't want anything to do with the kids. I think it's his wife kind of pressuring him into having something to do with his kids, only because this is the exact same thing that he did with his older son. Because I do speak to his ex-wife, and she would tell me that this is exactly what he did to her, that he hasn't had anything to do with Lane, and that it was his previous girlfriends or whatnot that pressured him into having something to do with his kids.
Okay. I can't make him have anything to do with the children. I can just give him an opportunity.
Yes, ma'am.
If he chooses to do that, is up to him, and it was his loss, but it's his decision. Well, based on the testimony and evidence, then I do find that Mr. Fowler is the legal and biological father of these children. I'm ordering that the parent-child relationship is established for all purposes. I'm appointing Ms. Gray as a sole managing conservator and Mr. Fowler as a possessory conservator. As to visitation, I'm ordering visitation on first, third, and fifth Saturdays from 2 until 5 to occur in Baylor County or neighboring counties. The word is contiguous, but it means neighboring counties, to be supervised by Ms. Gray or another adult that she picks. I'm not ordering I'm ordering no extended summer visitation for the children. And I'm ordering Mr. Fowler to give 48 hours notice to Ms. Gray of his intent to visit. And that notice can be in writing or telephone. Right. I do find that the child support is satisfied by the disability payments to the children made on Mr. Fowler's behalf, and that the retroactive support has been satisfied in that manner as well. I am ordering Ms. Gray to continue to carry the Medicaid for the kids, and Mr. Fowler is ordered to reimburse the state $50 per month for that. And if there are any medical bills for the kids not covered by the Medicaid, then each parent would pay half. And there's provisions in there for how you tell Mr. Fowler, how to give him notice of bills that you might have. Does Medicaid cover everything for the children right now?
I believe so, yes, ma'am, because I have not had any bills.
Counseling, did it cover?
Yes, it does. Yes, ma'am.
Good. Excellent. I'm glad to know that. All right. And I'm assessing court costs against Mr. Fowler due 1 year from now. All of these payments to start September 1st, 2022. And Mr. Fowler's court costs will be due September 1st of 2023. Is there any other relief I need to address?
No, ma'am.
Your Honor,
I am granting the non-disclosure. Do you have someone,
thank you,
Ms.
Your Honor.
Gray, that you can put a phone number in for Mr. Fowler to use, somebody that's close to you, that if he calls, they'll be sure to tell you what the message is? Just kind of a relay number.
Yes, ma'am. My mother.
All right,
Or-
don't give that out over the recording, but after I turn the recording off, I'll ask you to give that to Ms. Kuntz, and that will be the official phone number to relay any messages for like visitation and things like that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Anything else, Ms. Kuntz, that I'm leaving out?
No, Your Honor, but just for the record, that number is to be included in the court order. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, and then Ms. Kuntz is going to prepare that order for my signature and I will sign off on it. There is a period of 3 business days during which anybody could request a new hearing. If somebody does that, you get a new hearing in front of the district judge, and she would start over and make her own decision. But if nobody does that, this order starts to become final, and you should get a copy in about, I'd say about 2 weeks. If you don't get it, get your copy either by email or regular mail. Call the AG's office and just remind them to send you one, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck to you and the kids. Thank you so much, Ms. Gray.
Thank you.